Welcome to Comic Convo Express, everybody. This is Pedro, the Marvel fanboy himself,
and this is Tom, the Justice League junkie.
I've carefully studied every Justice Leaguer, past and present, and created contingency plans to neutralize you, should that ever become necessary.
Justice League junkie.
Why not?
Why not? Are you feeling?
I'm feeling for some DC Comics.
We are live on twitch.tv/PevGamer. Give a shout out to everybody in the chat room, by the way. You can check this also out on the YouTube channel on youtube.com/Comic Convo Express. Hit the subscribe button, y'all. We need your support, man. Follow us on all episodes. Edited by our own Pev Gamer. You can check us out on our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Comic Convo Express, where if you join now, you can get early access, behind the scenes content, cool merchandise, artwork from our own Tommy, access to our other show, The After Hour.
You know what happens there?
Yeah, it's where the convo goes uncut and uncensored.
What did he say?
But it's only exclusive on Patreon, so check it out. You can also get our merchandise at streamlab.com/PevGamer/merch for merchandise on Pev Gamer and Combo Express stuff. So keep a lookout for that too. Comic Convo Express is also brought to you by W Energy Drinks. Go to w.gg and use promotional code PevGamer, all caps, for you could get 10% off the entire order. Get your dub on, everybody. So there we go. How you doing, Pev?
Hold up, y'all.
He said, "Hold up, y'all."
I'm doing good. How about you guys? What's been going on?
He said, "Just relaxing and maxing."
Yeah? Good.
Yeah.
Good. What's the theme of our episode today, guys?
Oh, yes. Today's theme, it's a sequel to first season 1, Marvel versus DC, the electoral votes. That's right. Think of us as two running mates, the two big two, Marvel versus DC. Now, I already made my claim. I'm endorsing Marvel, your universe. Tom, it's time for make it official.
I got DC in the house. DC is in the house.
And the idea is today we're going to do our campaigning for both Marvel and DC, where you get to vote and decide who is the biggest comic book company.
Biggest, baddest.
Pev Gamer in the chat room will keep an eye on who's voting for what, and he will tally the votes. And I think you'll get the results on our Patreon.
Guys.
If you want to know who won, the Patreon's the place to be as well.
Hey, P, how much is the Patreon? Like the
Patreon is no more than $4.
$4.
Just to get there's
$4.99.
$4.99. Try again.
If you're round off $4, it's $4.99.
That's right. So it's almost like buying a comic book.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. So,
no taxes.
No taxes.
There you go.
So as we go on, let's start with this campaign with our segments. Let's do this.
So actually, first thing I'm going to ask you both to do is look up at our TV screen. It's not coming through too well on the live version of the show, but I'm going to pop it up on the regular screen right now. We have the electoral integrity map for Marvel and DC. Pedro, would you mind reading where the spread is looking at right now?
Okay, the spread says here, the electoral results, 270 needed to win, 3 left to claim. Okay, so for Marvel, we have 266.
Boo! Boo, Marvel, boo. Oh, sorry.
But for DC Comics, you guys got 269.
Yay! Go DC. Go DC.
I'm
Go
about to
DC.
ask for a
go
recheck on those
DC.
numbers.
Well, we'll update the listings as they come in. We're just going off the votes.
I know.
I gotta live in my moment now, baby. I gotta live in my moment.
I don't
right
know,
now.
man. Vote red, people. Vote red. Make us great again.
Say no to red.
Boo-hoo. Anyway.
I say bah.
All right, let's get right into the show. Let's go through our segment list. So, segment 1. Who is your favorite villain to hold political power? It could be either a Marvel or DC. Tom, do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I'll take the ball. Glad you asked, Pev. Mine's is Lex Luthor.
They couldn't see the beauty. No imagination. They'd rather fight.
Her first appearance in Action Comics 23 from 1940. Created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Don't want to mess that up. Much props and respect. Here's my little take on it. Lex Luthor would be the best villain to hold political power. As a classic and quintessential evil genius, he already demonstrates his ability to wield significant influence through his multinational corporation LexCorp. He's also proven himself as a cunning and ruthless, having orchestrated the death of his parents, believe it or not. You know why he did that?
Why?
To get insurance money from them. That's kind of how he gained all his
about that money.
riches.
Really?
Yep, Lex Luthor is motivated as rooted as a desire powerhouse. And of course, his vengeance against Superman, making him a formidable force in politics. His intelligence and strategic thinking.
Oh, please. Don't tell me you and the Boy Scout have switched cities.
Would allow him to navigate the politics with ease. Sorry, I can't read.
And I can't read.
He's already shown his ability as a criminal politician, legitimate connections to further his positions to be the most powerful man in Metropolis. And of course, these are my highlights. I got intellectual powerhouse,
Must I remind you of my superiority?
ruthless ambition, and cunning politician. And I got some really nice fun fact. There was actually 3 storylines in the comics that represented Luthor as actually the president. There was a storyline called Lex 2000, the storyline which took place in the early 2000s, saw Lex Luthor become the 43rd president of the United States after a devastating earthquake in Gotham. He was elected due to the popularity to restore Gotham City and promising to bring technology advancements. Then the second story arc was called Justice League: A Better World. In an alternate universe storyline, Lex Luthor becomes the president and imposes his twisted version of the world, leading to a political state where the Justice League must use ruthless tactics to maintain order. Then, of course, the last one was Superman Red Sun. You remember that?
Yes, I did. That was a good book.
In a what-if scenario, Lex Luthor becomes president of the United States of the world. Where Superman landed, of course, in Ukraine. We talked about that before, other than being Smallville. And those issues ran through... the Lex storyline was 2000-2001, ran in Action Comics 775 through 778, Superman 154 through 158. And they did a one-shot, Lex 1, number 1 special, 2000. Justice League: A Better World ran through Justice League 2013 to 16, Justice League 18 to 21, Justice League 23.1, and 23.4.
So, actually...
Just a fun fact, or fact check. There is actually another storyline that you missed that Lex Luthor was president in. It was, oh, you do? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Do it.
Do it.
No, go ahead.
Do it, DC rep!
No, go ahead. No, it was the Red Sun one. There, issue 1 through 3, Mark Miller.
You're missing one more.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
The other one that's missing is Batman vs. Superman Public Enemies. Luthor was president.
Oh,
He was already president at the time.
there you go.
But what he was talking about was it started in Superman Lex 2000 special. That's when it started. He was
That's
still
part
in
of the same
office.
storyline? You sure
No,
about that?
he was already still in office when that series came out.
Try again. First issue, Batman vs. Superman, Public Enemies. He's elected into office. He's sworn in.
What year was that?
I think 2005?
This was 2000.
This is
2001. 2001. That's when this happened. Lex.
I'll double check my source, but...
Double
Alright.
check it.
It says
I'm back on this.
Lex 2000 from 2001, and those were the books that it ran through.
So anyway, let's continue. We'll get back to this one.
So I think Lex would probably be the great choice for it. You know, being that he's a genius, smart, and this guy's loaded, and then plus. In the background, you know, he can manipulate, moves his little chess pieces and stuff. And
course.
I think he'd be as a villain, I think he'd be a great president. All right, Peace, what you got?
Well, I mean, I would agree with you on that, and he was on my list for DC if we had a villain that would hold political power.
Okay.
And you gave all the information, Lex 2001, which we just talked about that,
Yep.
by Jeff Loeb and Tony Harris.
Yes.
My only tip about that was his obsession with Superman, and him being president, which we learned in Public Enemy, would have been his biggest weakness as a political power. But
Yeah.
I think if he ran the state, maybe it would be a little bit different. But, he's also a little manipulative, but that's politicians, that's what they do. So, in Marvel, I would have picked the Kingpin of Crime.
Kingpin.
The Kingpin of Crime,
Wilson Fisk, baby.
created by Jim Lee and John Romita Sr. He, at one point, became the mayor of New York.
You mean Stanley? You said Jim Lee. But
Stanley.
Cool.
Oh, I'm
I got
so
your back,
sorry.
bro.
Stanley.
Yo, who's
Stanley.
here for you, bro? Me.
Got me.
I got you, baby. I got you.
So, Stanley's
You're gonna
creation of
flip
Kingpin.
Minnesota with
like-
that bullshit.
Like, how old is Jim Lee?
Wow, he's not that old.
He's still
But
alive.
he was Kingpin of Crime was the mayor. He was at one point the mayor of New York City.
First appearance of Amazing Spider-Man.
And it happened in Daredevil Volume 5, number 28, written by Charles Soule and Ron Garney.
Oh, Ron Garney. Pops to Ron Garney, baby.
And, of course, Kingpin of Crime was first appeared on Amazing Spider-Man 50 with Stan Lee.
Iconic cover.
There you go. All covered. So, anyway, during his time there, he manipulates the whole candidacy, and he ends up winning the votes. He was going against J. Jonah Jameson at the time.
JJ?
Because he was the defending mayor, and he lost the election. Oh, wow. So Kingpin goes in there, and he, even though he's still behind doing his criminal activity, trying to help the city and clean it up, he also managed to put in the effective rules on vigilantism. You know, like everybody has their objectiveness about vigilantism.
Yes.
Where like the Punisher would kill somebody and they feel they're above the law.
Yep.
So Kingpin decides, okay, you can't be above the law anymore, and decides, you know what? Here's the new rule in effect. If you're vigilantism and get caught, you're going to jail.
The final insult. An assault on my home must be avenged. If I let this stand, my enemies will see it as a fatal weakness. The Punisher must die. And at my hands. Since my current employees have failed me, other measures will be undertaken.
Hands down.
You're a vigilante.
Yeah, exactly. So he did it in spite, because he hates Daredevil, he hates Spider-Man.
Hold on, Moby Dick. Time for me to reel you in.
So, but it was a cool rule, thinking that somebody in politics wanted to do something about these vigilantes that were just running wild like crazy.
Like street level heroes.
Exactly,
right?
street
Okay.
level.
Gotcha.
The Avengers maybe, but they were forced to be work out of New York. So
well, correct me if I'm wrong. Kingpin was reenacting or reinforcing the Superhero Registration Act.
Exactly, a little bit similar to the Registration Act, but he didn't want them registered. Simple. He wanted them completely out. Right. But the ulterior motive was basically crime would go up and let the police deal with it.
Okay.
But it's also under his wallet. So, but that made me like him, because it made the heroes work even harder to do their vigilantism. Excuse me if I said the word right.
It's cool.
But to fight crime without getting caught.
You said it right that time.
Oh, good. Yeah. Wow, that was a hard word to say.
School systems are ruining us. They're failing us.
They are every time.
They're failing us.
Get the
They
Kingpin
fail
on
us
it.
every time.
We're gonna be replaced by scrolls.
Exactly, right? Scrolls.
Scrolls, why not?
Why not? It's scary. I also picked Dr. Doom as a dictator.
There you go.
Now, imagine, he has his own country, Latveria. Now, we've always known him to be a villain for the Fantastic Four, for Spider-Man, for everything like that.
He's a genius, too.
He first appeared in Fantastic Four, number 5, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. It was also the issue...
Fact check true!
That check is true. And Fantastic Four Annual 2 was the first time we got to see Latveria, this imaginary country. But he was the dictator. Mm-hmm. And you figure a villain like that runs a country like that these people are going to be like suffering. Apparently, it's the opposite. They love Doom. Whether he was strict, whether he was a little like crazy, running, everything was like he made the decision.
He had his own agenda.
Those people,
too,
they followed him. They followed him. They did not want anybody but Doom be there, and that tells me he's doing something right the way he ran that country. Yeah. We all don't have to agree with it, but he was doing something right in Latveria.
Oh, gentlemen, we actually have some breaking news coming in. Let me get the correspondence.
We got breaking news.
Yeah, we have breaking news on the floor right now. We've got some. There you go.
Thank you.
Late breaking news. All right, I'll take care of this one.
Thank you, Robert.
Late breaking news. DC has no idea how to run their fandom. They are getting fake news from Nation of Kandak.
What?
Yeah, getting all this information, bad, not real. The Nation of Conduct.
What?
We're gonna have to give a call to Black Adam because he's the dictator of Conduct.
Conduct is like down there somewhere.
Down there?
Yeah.
So,
To the
Johnny,
left.
how do you how to react to these allegations
These are crazy
against
allegations.
the DC political party?
It's all lies. All lies. I gotta say it's lies.
Really?
Yeah, it's all lies.
From Conduct though?
It's lies. It's all lies.
I mean, let me
Well,
see some of the
as
things.
you guys can
Let me
see
check
on
what
the
they were
screen.
saying. They're saying that Superman is gonna run for vice president. I mean, like, really? Like, that's their fake news.
Who would be a better vice president than Superman?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, but like he's made it clear he's not running, is he?
No, he's flying.
He's
flying.
Yeah, good point.
He's flying for presidency.
Maybe that's how they got their fake news.
Yep.
Well,
There we go.
As you guys can probably see in just a second, looks like a couple of states have turned. Looks like there's been a shift in voting.
So maybe this helped us out here. I'll read the news if you like.
Oh,
okay, here we go. So
Let's get the
DC
breakdown.
Comics is now, they dropped to 266, and Marvel, your universe, 269. Whoa. Conduct, keep it up. Keep with your fake news and not tell the truth. Where Marvel, all we do is tell the truth.
Huh? Liar.
Make mine Marvel. Keep it up, people. All right, so those were our two. Here's our honorable mentions, real quick. I threw in Black Adam, who is also the dictator of Conduct.
Superman modeled his government after mine. We allow no insurrection.
Who helped us out with the votes. And of
Wait,
course,
I'm so confused. Wasn't Doctor Doom your honorable mention?
Yeah, I thought he was.
he is.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom was my honorable
I
mention.
thought he was Marvel.
Oh, I just lost track.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, I just threw in for a DC honorable mention. So there you go. So, anybody else? Oh, here we go. A couple more honorable mentions. Senator Robert Kelly.
Here we go.
Senator Robert Kelly.
Pete.
And from DC Two-Face.
Hey.
Harvey might feel bad about this Batman, but we'll bring him round.
There you go.
There you go. So there you go. Being fair.
DC
Yeah,
Two-Face. Hey,
Two-Face.
there you go.
DC Two-Face. He was a
I got a quick one. Reed Richards. Why can't he be the Marvel?
Smartest man in the universe.
Genius. Why not?
He would.
You guys know the question is villain, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he threw
But
the
he was
Reed
bad
Richards.
in a couple.
In Ultimate, yeah.
Hey,
all right, fair enough.
Here
Fair
we go.
enough.
We'll
Fair
take the ultimate.
The Maker.
Reed Richards.
The
Yeah.
Maker from Ultimate
Maker.
Universe. There you go.
Cookie
That
Baker.
rectified.
Yeah, baby.
Cookie Baker.
That's what we got, my friend.
There you go.
All right.
Let's move you guys on to segment 2. All right, segment 2. What was the most controversial comic book to ever be published? I know we talked before the show. You both have actually takes on both sides. Yes. So who wants to start the... You want the ball? All right, here you go.
All righty. All right, we'll start with DC. The controversial comic book to ever be published, Batman 428, The Death in the Family. I spoke about this before. It's the death of Robin. It was controversial because they put Robin's life into the people's hands, and your vote always counted.
I have to make the phone call.
So you all made the phone call,
The
said
last
you
page of
wanted
the
Robin
comic.
to die or Robin to live, and in the end, Robin got the axe. And it was your fault. But anyway.
Fun fact on that, seeing that Robin got, he died back then, beautiful story by Jim Starlin, the legend Jim Starlin, art by Jim Aparo.
Yes.
And the great thing about that was, years later, they reprinted the actual book where he didn't get killed.
That's
I think
right.
we spoke
Recently.
about that on a recent
That's right.
episode. So go back and watch our old episodes, guys.
Now, as much as that was controversial, politically, it was two ways. One way was you guys got to pick the votes. That's how powerful your votes are.
Yeah.
Number two was the Joker at the time he was into politics at the time before he killed the Batman Robin, excuse me.
Yep.
And he was the ambassador of a country called Korak, another imaginary country. But he not only killed Robin, Batman couldn't do anything about it because he had politically asylum. They couldn't
Political
be
immunity.
Immunity, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he
Wait,
couldn't be
that's
touched.
the reason why it's controversial, not the fact that we killed a fucking child?
Politically, it's all about politics.
He was young
man.
then, too, right?
And
He was still a kid, yeah.
He
Yeah,
was.
still a kid.
And it was the second Robin, not Dick Grayson, and he just got beat with a crowbar.
Took him out.
So that's why I thought he was controversial at DC. And Marvel, a little different. My pick was Secret Invasion number 8. Great storyline. What makes it controversially was Norman Osborn and how he rise to power. Very simple.
Norm, baby, Norm.
Earth, let's put the Earth, not just America, we were invaded by the Skrulls. It was a big-ass battle between the Skrulls and the heroes. And in order to stop them, it took one man to end this war. It was Norman Osborn.
Secret invasion, baby.
And all he did was take out the Queen of the Skrulls. By doing that, and it was on TV, it was publicized, the whole world got to see it, and he looked like a big hero. Mind you, this is the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
So he was a big hero, and he got promoted for it.
He's crazy.
They ended up getting rid of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it was replaced by this thing called Hammer. It was all enunciation, Hammer. And he ends up becoming the director of Hammer. And his original plan was to use it
MC
to
Hammer?
move up.
Oh, sorry.
MC Hammer.
Sorry.
Can't touch this. So it was his platform so he could rise up to power to become president, which could have happened if it not for him being the Green Goblin.
He's a genius.
So that's my 2 picks. How about you?
Nice. I've got, on the DC side, of course, I got The Killing Joke, 1988, written by Alan Moore and illustrated by Brian Bolded. Controversy, graphic violence, and this was very graphic. Adult content, and the crippling of Batgirl.
Barbara Gordon.
I really enjoyed that. I'm sure we covered that prior in a previous pod.
Right.
That was one of my really one that stuck out to me. And then there was a couple other ones. These all fall into the DC line. These are like my honorable mentions for for DC. Identity Crisis, 2004-2005, illustrated by Brian Meltzer and Rags Morales. Nice. Controversy, graphic violence, what rhymes with grapes, and the murder of Sue, the Inoculated Man.
Elaginated Man.
Yeah, if I'm saying it correctly. And then you got The Authority from 1999, written by Warren Ellis and illustrated by Brian Hitch. Controversy, explicit content, graphic violence, and anti-Christian themes. Then, of course, you got The Batman Dark Knight Returns, written by Frank Miller, drawn and written. Graphic violence, mature themes, and a very darker version of Batman.
Yeah. Very theme.
Then you got your Watchmen, and of course Sandman falls in there, Preacher and Hellblazer falls in there.
That was very political. Watchmen.
And
not worried about politicized, I'm worried about controversy.
And the great thing about that was Marvel, because of these books that were issued by Marvel and published, they had a response to the controversy. They implemented a rating system to guide readers.
Yep.
Okay. And they also provided content warnings.
Yes. That's when they dropped the comic code. Yes, you're right.
And they also engaged fans and critics to address concerns. Again, they supported creators' artistic freedom, impact on comic book industry.
That's what you call fighting the system, because the comic code was Century Comics for many years. And Marvel was one of those that dropped it and decided to do their own ratings.
Yep.
So basically, it helped the Marvel Universe mature even better without being censored. So I agree with that.
Even as a kid, I always thought comics were for kids, but as some of them you read, you're like, this isn't for children.
Well, one of the older issues.
Some of them you were like, these were not, yeah.
Wasn't Amazing Spider-Man? There was like a 2 or 3 issue run where they took the code off it. It was about it was an anti-drug storyline, and it was going to be censored by the code if it was printed with the code, and they decided not to use the code. Stan Lee was the one who spearheaded it, and it came out, and nothing changed.
We'll do a whole episode on the common sense crisis that happened in the early 80s.
But it was controversial, so
so that was my take. And again, I took on the DC side. Pedro touched a little on both, which was cool. But that's pretty much what we got.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting involved in this.
Yeah, do it, man. Do it. Do it.
All right, I'm going to mute you guys. I'm going to talk for a second. So when I think of controversy, they went into a totally different direction. So I'm just going to share real quick. When I think of controversy, I think of comic books like Mouse. And for those who don't know what Mouse is, it was written by this gentleman who his grandfather, actually no, it wasn't even his grandfather, his father survived the Holocaust. The book was completely written in the ideals of retelling the events of the Holocaust, of what his father faced in concentration camps, but it was told through the lens of the Jews were represented by mice, and the Nazis and Germans were represented by cats, and the Allies were represented by dogs. Very good comic book, but very, very controversial because of showing about kind of what happened in the concentration camps and the simplicity of using animals to show it off. I think of the Punisher Max series, which brought Marvel into the age of their own rating system of Max and Marvel Knights versus the standard main line. I'm trying to think of something real. Oh, DC Black Label started going into political ideology from V for Vendetta. So when I think of controversy, I think of that stuff. But I get what you guys were trying to do, so I won't.
Batman junk.
Which one? Batman.
Bat junk. Remember they showed his junk in the Black.
Bat junk, bat balls.
You gotta have some bat junk.
See the comical.
Pause. Pause. You gotta pause on that.
Gotta pause it,
Brother,
bat balls.
All right, gentlemen.
So anyway.
Let me go into our next little segment here. Let's see what we have. What happened?
There's a late breaking news going on.
We have breaking news.
I think there's some news happening.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I guess we have late breaking news coming up.
Oh.
Correspondence.
It is here.
Thank you. We call him Rat Pack.
Thank you, Pedro.
The Rat Pack.
Thank you,
Rat Pack.
thank you, Hector.
Rat Pack.
Thank you, Hector.
All right, Tom, you want to read this one?
Call him by his street name, damn it.
Okay, this election clearly has been interfered from Krypton. They want us to think that it's blown up, but I know better. Tom McFarlane has even told me that Jim Lee has been to Krypton.
Really?
That's where we're getting these votes from. Make mine DC again.
Okay, here's my response to that.
It's almost like the Marvel person should have read that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Right?
So, you know, it's just
That's
a little...
no surprise for me. But here's my
little hokey pokey.
here's my interference on that.
Is that interference? Flag on the play.
Yeah,
Flag on the play.
Krypton was destroyed,
Marvel,
so technically that shouldn't be counted.
Are you switching fucking sides?
No, I'm just saying.
Come to the dark side.
No.
Come to the dark side.
What
We
I
got
mean,
pizza.
If you count those votes in Krypton, it would go to DC.
No, but
I think those votes don't count.
Yeah, I think it counts.
I don't think it counts.
Make mine DC again.
I think this is McFarlane's way of trying to screw Marvel. You know, when he went to Spider-Man, he was great on Spider-Man, ends up wanting to become part of Image with Spawn, and say, you know what, I'm going to wait 20 years to get back in Marvel, and he's decided to count these votes from Krypton because of Jim Lee. Both of y'all went to Image, and then Jim Lee didn't even stay in Image, he went back to DC. If you follow what I'm trying to say, there? I think there's
something
controversy.
Going on there?
I think there is.
It's just a little bit. And speaking of Tommy Farley, you know why he left the 90s Spider-Man?
Why?
Because he wanted Spider-Man to lose his arm. And Marvel told him, you know what, go pound some sand.
Well,
so he was like, I'm out of here.
Is that real?
Yeah, exactly. Fun fact.
Yeah, but would Spider-Man be good with just one arm?
Well, I don't know if you saw that storyline that was a 6-part. It had like Solo, it had Hulk,
Solo,
Ghost Rider, and everybody.
Eric Larson.
Spider-Man had a robot arm. That was supposed to be gone.
Oh, no.
Marvel's like, dude, how are you going to remove Spider-Man's arm?
I agree with Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel. DC, let's go DC. Hey, who's winning?
If we listen to these people, obviously the Spider-Man we know and love will only have one arm.
It's all fixed.
Marvel stepped in.
It's all fixed.
Marvel stepped in and did their best to make sure Spider-Man was 100%, including both arms.
Yeah, step on this. All right. What's the next segment for you?
So,
all right, here we go.
I got you.
No changes on the votes. No changes on the votes.
Yeah, it's totally not like I wrote these jokes or anything. And we were supposed to follow them or anything of that nature. I'm looking at you, Marvel fanboy. All right. Segment number 3. Who is more of a threat, Lex Luthor as president or Norman Osborn as president? And it's really funny because I guess that really just ties into the first subject. But it's okay. So whoever wants to take it, go ahead.
Well, I'll take this one. Sorry.
Yeah, you can take 3 people.
I'll take it. All right. So, who is more of a threat, Lex Luthor for president or Norman Osborn for president? Well, we've seen Lex Luthor become president. He was smart enough to get in there. They had a good series.
Yeah.
We actually saw how good he was as president. We also saw how bad he was as president. So let's be honest with that.
He's got flaws. Yeah.
And the damage that was done, or the good things that he did for Metropolis as well as the United States. But we never got to see Norman Osborn succeed as a president. And the reason why, he was, like I said earlier, during Dark Reign, he ends up being the head of Hammer, the director. And he was this close to becoming president. Then the series called Siege came out. and the city of Oklahoma had an issue with Asgard floating over the state of Oklahoma, which it's still a red state, thank goodness.
Right over there.
And
that's COVID. All red is COVID.
No, it's Marvel. It's Marvel. And basically, he sends in his own
Marvel's
Thunderbolt.
COVID. Look, they're taking over. It's just spreading.
He sends his own.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
No, that was the case. They turned blue. DC. So he basically sent the Dark Avengers and the Thunderbolts to attack the city of Asgard, and it crashed down on top of Oklahoma.
Oh, damn!
You know, had nothing to do with us, by the way, in Marvel. So anyway, the heroes rushed in. They tried to do their best, and during the time, Norman Osborn fell off the wagon. Showed off that he was the Green Goblin. He even painted his face. He didn't wear the mask. He painted his face like the Green Goblin. And that's when, his chance of becoming president was null and voided. I'm sure one day there'll be a what-if story. Listen up, Marvel. A what-if story, if that didn't happen and Norman Osborn did become president, I got a feeling it would have a lot of compelling stories that would have frightened the hell out of everybody in the world. So I would say Norman Osborn is my choice on that.
I hear you, but I don't agree.
What a surprise.
But you know what? He's actually a very intelligent man, Norm.
Norman, oh yeah, a businessman.
I mean, he's a schemer. He's a schemer. He sits in the back and moves chess
He'd be
pieces.
great at politics, but...
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, he's the Green Goblin.
But yeah, that's the only problem.
All right, I got a little take on both of them, actually.
Oh, cool.
Lex Luthor and Norman Osborn, two of the most iconic villains in the comic book universe.
Of course.
As president of the United States, well, that's a terrifying thought. Let's break it down. Lex Luthor, a cunning politician. As president, Lex Luthor, genius-level intelligent, charisma businessman, makes him a formidable force. He already held the office multiple times in various storylines, which I stated before. Using his charm and manipulation, public opinion. He often, in the background, he's pretty much pulls all the strings. But his kind of, way of thinking is a little bit corruption, deception, and hidden agenda.
Just like a real politician.
Because he really wants to get rid of Superman for some reason. Luthor's strategic thinking and resources make him a credible threat and a national global security. I really like the fact that Lex Luthor would probably stand out as president.
Okay.
I mean, if anyone could do it in DC, it'd be him. I mean, I would say the only other person would probably be Batman, but he's not a villain. We're talking about villains.
Right.
I mean, Bruce Wayne could probably, all his billions and cajillions, he can,
He could fix the economy big time.
If he wanted to.
But this is Norman. But this is Lex Luthor.
Yep, correct.
And Luthor is also rich too.
But, he's got dough. He's got dough for days.
But he didn't use it to fix the country though.
Well, he did during the earthquake.
The economy?
No, during the earthquake when Gotham fell.
That's right.
He rebuilt
did rebuild
when he did it. Yeah.
My bad.
So I mean, for a lot of bad he's done, he did a little good.
Still good.
And then my take on Norman, an unpredictable menace. Norman Osborn, aka Green Goblin, brings an unpredictability and violence to the table. As president, he's likely to leverage his business empire and underworld connections to maintain control. In the alternate future of Earth X, Osborn's presidency is marked by tyranny and manipulation, with the country essentially becoming his personal playing grounds. His willingness to force to make him a wild card, capable of causing chaos and destruction. Compare both threats. Well, both are dangerous. Lex Luthor calculated approach to intelligence powers, blah, blah, blah. Genius, but it also makes him a wild card. Unfortunately, the threat level depends on, the storyline, the writer, whoever wants to take hold of it and run with it,
Of course.
And then Norman Osborn, he's not all there, so he's probably going to keep the nation on edge.
So between the two, who would you pick to be
hands down the biggest threat? Oof, I want to say Green Goblin.
So you agree with me?
Yeah, as a threat.
But
who I want to be president is Lex Luthor. Between what I want and
what you're going to get.
Yeah. And then real quick, a couple storylines that ran. All-Star Squadron, 2008, 2005. These are all Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, 1986. The Lex Luthor story I talked about, 2000.
Yes, that was a really good story.
And then all the playground that Norman Osborn did, Crisis on Infinite Earth. No, I'm sorry, Civil War, Dark Reign, the Green Goblin revealed, Kraven's Last Hunt, where he stayed in the background and pulled all the strings,
Pulled all the strings.
and Superior Spider-Man, where Norman.
He was also behind the Thunderbolts too.
Yes, 2013, 2014, Osborn returned from the dead in a battle to fight the Superior Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus, Peter Parker. Remember when they switched bodies?
That's right.
Yeah,
All right,
storyline.
Pedro, you have been redeemed for a shout out. I'm going to put the camera on you. You have 30 seconds
Pete
to
gets a
respond.
shout out.
Why should the people vote for Marvel over DC? Starting now. Go.
DC's better.
My fellow Americans and Marvelites, I would like to explain to you why Marvel's number one. Really simple. The Marvel Universe is the greatest comic book company ever. Why? Because they put out all the best storylines. They put out all the great artwork. I mean, the characters alone lasted since Stan Lee was formed Marvel. It's been still going. It's still relevant to this day. The movies are top notch. The cartoon series are top notch. I'm telling you, you want to vote for Marvel.
All right, there's
Make
30
mine
seconds.
Marvel.
Thank you very much for the shout out, Hunter. Very, very.
I like that. I gotta use the one. Oh god!
I thought he was writing fake news.
I thought he said fake news, but he said.
It's gonna write something else, but this is a family channel. This is a family program. Like and subscribe.
It could have been like he would have been censored.
Could have drew something else.
The comic code would have just taken
Boy, I
you
could
out.
have drew something else.
Wow, check it out. The polling's about to update on the screen. There you go.
Oh, let's go!
That was after my speech?
Yeah, you had a negative impact. on
Oh,
your,
no.
Community.
I'll read it to you if you
Good
can't
job,
read it.
Marvel fanboy. Good job.
Marvel Comics now is at 267. DC is at 268. It's still a tight race.
Let's get to 69, baby. 69.
I think that 1% is
Pete,
still not
you gotta
there.
get to 69, baby.
Damn right.
After hours, baby. After hours.
After hours,
Come see us.
69. We'll get to
69,
that
baby.
number. Marvel, not DC. But,
Fetty Wap has a good song about that.
You bastard.
What?
You bastard. You said vote for Marvel.
Vote for Marvel.
Bastard.
Remember, Krypton is gone, so don't even count their votes. All right, so
Krypton's gone.
late breaking news.
Oh, we got some
Late
news.
breaking news.
Yeah, there is.
I control the fucking show.
Since y'all don't know fucking jokes for
You tell them,
shit.
man. You tell them.
All right, segment 4.
Segment 4.
Who is more of a noble leader for his people, Black Adam or Doctor Doom? I'm gonna let Tommy take the fucking ball on this one since Pedro doesn't know how to make jokes happen.
Okay.
Make mine Marvel.
That was crazy.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Black Adam and Doctor Doom, two complex and powerful characters as notable leaders for their people. Let's examine their qualifications. Black Adam, DC Comics.
I also believe in order.
You mistake tyranny for order, Adam.
Tyranny creates order.
Black Adam, first appearance, Marvel Family #1, December 1945. Fun fact about him, when he first appeared, he was a villain. Later on, he made him an anti-hero. And then the third time, it was a little complex, like a little murky waters.
Right.
Black Adam, an ancient Egyptian prince, 10th Adam is his real name.
Okay.
Granted powers by the wizard Shazam. We did a whole cover on DC and Shazam, guys. Go back to our earlier pod, you can see. Leadership style. Authoritarianism with a strong sense of justice and protection for his people. Qualities. Unwavering dedication to his nation. Conduct. Willingness to make tough decisions for a greater good. Strategic thinker, leveraging his magical abilities. Respects tradition and heritage. Now, of course, Black Adam, he has flaws.
He was played by
Just like Dr. Doom. Ruthless tactics can lead to harm to those outside of conduct. Struggles with anger and impulsiveness. Because, you piss him off, he's going to go all Black Adam on you.
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty trusting others, leading to isolation. Dr. Doom, background, was it Laverian?
Laveria.
Latveria, Monarch. Victor Von Doom with sorceress and technology experience. Leadership styles. Focuses on scientific progression and national pride. Qualities. Visionary, driving Laverian technology advancements. Characteristics, leaders, inspiring loyalty, strategic thinking. Remember how you said all his people around him, they praise him.
Even though
he's somewhat of a
strict.
bad guy,
Yeah,
but
he's
he's strict in his ways.
Right.
Also, he preserves his culture of his people.
Exactly.
Now, without good, you got your bad. You got some flaws.
There's the flaws.
Obsessive. I can't even read, guys. School systems are failing me.
That's why you should vote for Marvel.
Ambition can lead
Only
to
the DC
destructive
universe.
decisions. Marvel don't even got schools. Come to DC, we got schools. Come to Metropolis.
Yeah, as you struggle to read. Go ahead.
I don't have my glasses.
Good excuse. There you go.
Ruthless suppression of arrogance and pride could cloud his judgment. So, and of course, first appearance was Fantastic Four #5, 1962, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Stan Lee.
Same thing with him.
Jack
When he
Kirby.
first came on the scene, he was a villain.
Yes.
Second is a little complex, and the third, now he's an anti-hero.
Well, he's still a villain.
You kind of gotta, I guess, change
He's his
with
own
times.
way. He's his own way, right?
So
Now-
out of both of them,
Yes.
I'd go Black Adam a little bit more, because Dr. Doom, at the end of the day, he's all about power and what he can gain. Again, Black Adam has flaws, but I'd say in the ratings, you know me, I'd say Black Adam 7 to 10, Dr. Doom 4 out of 10. But again, that's my opinion, and that's how I feel, and that's the bottom line.
Well, I'm more defensive with Doctor Doom because, like you say, yes, his one of his biggest flaws is power. He wants to keep to himself.
He wants everything. Remember Secret Wars, issue number 12. He wanted to be under his power.
And he had it, and
he got it.
and he just messed everything up. So I kind of agree with you there. Black Adam, what can I say about the tragedy that he's gone through in his life, and then he ends up having his own country, being a dictator himself. And his temper could be his weakness, but it also could be his strength. And if the people of conduct just looks at him as their leader, their dictator, then again, just like Latveria and their people, they probably look at him the same way. Just for the fact that The Rock played Black Adam, he probably gets my vote as well.
If you smell what Black Adam's cooking.
Imagine him just sitting in the throne, and
He did in the
someone
movie,
goes up to
remember?
him, give him a complaint about poverty, like the political world, and they would complain to him, and I could see him just like raising up his people's eyebrow, and everybody will fix the problem right then and there. So I would agree, Black Adam's my choice on this for DC, but Doom very close second, and that's my pick on that. So.
Yeah, I like Doom. I mean, Doom as
I
a
agree
leader,
with
he's a genius still. I don't want to say he's the level of Reed Richards, but he's up there. And he actually went to school with Richards, believe it or not. They were friends at one time.
So did Iron Man, fun fact.
Yes.
Yes.
Robert Downey Jr. He's going to be Dr. Doom. I'm
No!
going to judge it, but
No!
when it comes out, I will.
No,
I'll
that's
reserve
Iron
it.
Man forever. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
now he's
I'm
going to be
sorry.
Dr. Doom.
Make
Make
mine DC.
the interesting fact is, recently I read a Marvel solicitation that's coming out soon. Dr. Doom's supposed to take over the world.
The world?
Yes. I don't know
Come
how.
on.
I haven't read it yet, but that's what the solicitation's coming out for. I'm looking forward to reading it in the Avengers. As well, it's going to cross over all the other titles.
Oh, Marvel's going to ride that Doctor Doom train for a minute.
Of course, they have to.
For a hot minute.
They
I
have
like
to.
that number one that came out recently, the one shot, it paid homage to the late rapper Doom, DMF Doom.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They paid homage
Shout
to
out
him.
to him.
Shout out.
There
But
you go.
out of both of them, me personally, I'd go with Doom.
Doom. We're reversed on
we're
it.
Marvel DC, but I'd probably go Doom.
We're both in the opposite.
Yeah, but I say, but 7 out of 10 for Adam, 4 out of 10 for Doom.
Right.
But that's what I got.
There you go, Pat.
Okay, very good.
All right, my friends, we have one more segment to go through, and we have about 15 minutes left in the show, so I'm going to let you guys debate this out. So, I'm going to ask you guys to both take a stance and debate it. Segment 5, who has the bigger cultural impact, Marvel or DC? First, state with, obviously, who you're deciding on this, and make your argument against each other.
DC mic drop. Make it
Enough said, right? Nah, you know me, Marvel. I'm going to say Marvel. The biggest cultural impact.
Who is more culturally impacted?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say Marvel. I'm gonna tell you why. Let's go. We all know the history, so I'm gonna really touch it really fast as part. back in the 60s, the 50s, how the comic world was, and how it
30s
was.
actually when they all started.
30s, right. And at that time, DC came out strong with Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman later, The Flash as well. And then Marvel at the time was called Timely Comics, and before that, Atlas. And Stan Lee was about to...
Hey, here we go, yeah, all right.
Stan Lee was about to leave Marvel because he wasn't happy with what he was writing, so he ended up taking a chance, and he writes the story of the Fantastic Four. And from there on out, it changed the landscape in comic books. Marvel was put on the map. Later on with Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers, and the
Marvel
X-Men.
was founded in 1939.
And in the end, well, I'm not going to say the end, as it progressed over the years, it became a DC versus Marvel thing where who was the biggest company at the time, because even though DC had the edge with all those heroes, Marvel was producing books that were very sophisticated storylines, characters that were very human relatable, and eventually it overtook DC because of the fact that the readers weren't little like 5-year-olds who were reading Superman, The Adventures of Superman, and wanted to know about the teenage progress of Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So over the next couple 10, 15, 20 years or so, Marvel started edging out DC. And I think by the 70s, the 80s, Marvel was dominant with X-Men and everything.
The number one comic company.
And it just the culture change was basically what we looked at, how we looked at comic books. Back then, people thought comic books were strictly for kids. It was very childish. It's almost like being viewed as how we see cartoons, like Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry.
The Looney Tunes.
And as soon as you picked up a book and realized it wasn't kiddish, that you could relate to these characters, it was very literature. That's when the respect came into the comic world.
Yep.
And then that to me is cultural change. It was very it made it impact.
And the thing about Marvel, same thing with DC, they kind of changed with the times.
Exactly.
Like they touched on stories that were happening now. You remind me of the DC story in Green Lantern.
Yes, the
anti-drug
storyline.
Drug issue. And then you talk about Marvel. When Incredible Hulk, when one of the characters had AIDS, and he got stabbed by a character called Speed, I forgot the name.
It was a Silver something.
Well, anyways, this character got stabbed, and Hulk ended up grabbing this person, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he has AIDS! You know, you're gonna get AIDS." Hulk's like, "Listen, I'm immune to all this. I can hold him." But they changed with times, which was really, really amazing. That I liked. They didn't stay stagnant in what they were doing.
Dealt with racism in the X-Men.
Everything. Alpha Flight. I remember the issue with North Star.
Oh yeah, yes, the North Star being coming out.
Again, Marvel kind of changed with the times. Over the years. And then we spoke on last episode or the episode before about Bobby Drake.
Bobby Drake being Iceman. Yes,
getting married and everything, coming out the closet. So they kind of changed with times and they progressed, which I liked actually on both companies too.
And both companies in the end ended up changing the culture after that. Even though it was competition between Marvel, it's friendly competition.
Yeah, it's all.
No one's better than the other, but they needed this competition.
I disagree right there because forget the competition. Marvel's been stealing everything from DC.
Oh, come on.
Here we go.
Now we're really going.
All right, let's go. Off the top of my dome. You ready? DC created
Deathstroke versus Deadpool.
No, Spectre. The guy from the Black Adam movie.
Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate.
Marvel creates Doctor Strange.
Who came out first though?
Dr. Fate.
Fate came out for DC created Aquaman. Guess who came out? Namor. Okay. DC created Deathstroke. Damn you, Rob Liefeld. Guess who created Deadpool? Rob Liefeld. Marvel. Marvel. They copied them. It's just a non-stop thing of copycats. Again, Superman, one of the most iconic. Hyperion. You got your Sentry. You got Gladiator from the Shire Empire. Mm-hmm. Come on, dude. Marvel's been nothing but copying. But anyway, Pete. Back to the show.
Well, let me use one of your examples. Yes, you guys created Aquaman for some reason. We created Namor. I think Namor came out first before that.
Their villains are similar. They kind of talk to fish. Go ahead.
But when you see them in action, it's not about who came out first and who imitated the other.
DC was first.
It was about what they did with those characters.
No, I understand.
So
I hear you.
I'm sorry if people are related more towards Namor than they were to Aquaman.
I'm not. You know what? I actually like Namor.
That's what I'm
better
saying.
than Aquaman.
So, the competition, yes, it's always there, but I believe it's healthy because it helps produce what?
Namor was first.
Oh, Namor. So who was biting who?
October 1939 was Namor. Aquaman was November 1940.
We'll give him one.
Even with that one, the point I'm trying to make was it doesn't matter because they're similar or they look the same and everything. It's all about the stories that were told. It's also about the artists and how they draw them.
Correct.
And for
speaking
some
of
reason,
artists, Jack Kirby created Darkseid. Marvel created Thanos. Okay, now back to your show.
Which was more popular?
Powerful?
Who was more popular?
Powerful?
Popular.
No, I'm saying powerful.
Popular.
Because Darkseid will hand that ass to Thanos.
Well, that's
Take away that
debatable.
glove, Thanos got nothing on it.
It's all about the glove.
Other than the
all
strength.
about the glove.
All about the love and the glove.
It's like taking the utility belt away from Batman. Can he still kick ass?
Yes.
Of course.
He still
so
can.
without the glove, Thanos will still kick his ass. That's my point.
No.
But anyway,
Okay.
I guess my point I'm trying to make here, let me get back to my original point, is
DC's better.
you need this competition. Because
always.
just because DC ups Marvel doesn't mean Marvel will come up with an idea and up DC.
No.
And the more it does that, that's why they're the big two. They keep competing and they keep beating each other up.
Yeah.
And in the long run, I mean, look.
They all make money.
Exactly.
The
It's
bottom
all about,
line is...
and we're the winners.
Yeah, exactly. I was
And
about to
we're
say
the winners.
that. The people that buy, you're all the winners.
And we're all entertained by this form of literature.
Oh, you're not entertained?
And it's all because of this cultural change that came out back in the 60s.
Like I said, I like how, they progressed.
Exactly.
Both companies.
Now, as far as what you said earlier, yes, Superman came out first. Way later on, created the Sentry, who's supposed to be the bootleg Superman. But just for the record, I mean, Superman is kind of perfect. The Sentry is kind of crazy.
Who could win in that fight, P?
Sentry.
Sentry could take him,
maybe
I would say Sentry because
does he have like the strength of suns?
He also has the power of the Void.
Actually, hold up. Sentry would power Superman's powers, so maybe
He'll make him
Superman
stronger,
would win.
but there's also the Void side of him that could fight Superman and beat the crap out of him. Because they said the Void is equally powerful as the Sentry.
But
so
they
that
still
means if
pull 3d8 solar flare.
one does,
And that's what Superman
that's
feeds
what
off of.
and that's what the Sentry does.
So
but
that
the
fight
Void
would
is
probably
the
never
opposite.
end.
But isn't the Void the opposite?
Maybe it would never end.
You're probably right.
They would just
Maybe
keep going
never
at it because as much as Superman's giving it to him, he's taking his.
He's taking the same fight. Yeah.
He's like, thanks, dude. You're charging me. Man.
Superman probably would win that though, because Sentry only has the power of 10 exploding suns.
Oh.
Maybe,
right.
but he does have the Void.
Right.
I think the Void is the key to beating Superman.
Comic lesson, bitch!
Pev Gamer, he knows.
He knows, baby.
Even though today he's voting DC, he knows.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you're not?
I'm a moderator.
Who are you voting for?
No questions.
Image Comics. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for Comic Portland.
He's going for Image.
He's going for Image.
All right, gentlemen. We
Yes.
have less than 5 minutes in the show, so let's wrap up. Tommy, you got your top 10 for the audience?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
All right, phenomenal.
All right,
Any
guys.
final thoughts beforehand?
No,
Yeah, I was gonna say that both companies are
we're winners.
they were both impacts. They both did impacts. Everything from Marvel, over $22 billion in movies.
I know. The
Everything
movie sells
from
itself.
hit animation series from DC. I know they dropped the ball a couple times on movies.
Well, I think both sides drop balls in certain projects. That
Hey,
they do.
drop balls, balls.
But
Drop the
we
balls,
still would go out
drop
and
the
see
balls.
it. So I support him on it.
Yeah.
So, represent.
All right, guys, I got your top 10.
Here we go.
He could chime in and say whatever he wants.
You know it.
Number 10, you got Venom number 1.
Venom.
Lethal Protector.
Lethal Protector, yes. Mark
Bagley.
Bagley.
The Venom Last
David
Dance.
Michelini.
We're going to have to watch it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch it and give you guys the rundown on it. Number
Yes.
9, ASM 194, first appearance of Black Cat.
Spider-Man? Amazing
Yes,
Spider-Man?
yes, ASM. They were dropping tidbits about in the Craven's Last Hunt. They were dropping tidbits in other TV shows. Then you got number 8. You got G.I. Joe number 1.
G.I.
Cartoon
Joe.
/ actually, this cartoon was built to make for toys, to sell toys.
And who did it?
Marvel.
Your universe.
DC. Number 7, Uncanny X-Men 266, first appearance of Gambit.
Yep, Gambit.
Number 6, Silver Surfer number 3 versus Mephisto.
Oh, yes. Mephisto. We didn't see him in Agatha all along, but he's coming.
But they're saying that there's going to be something. Did you watch the last episode?
Yes, I did.
Okay, they said there was a tidbit in there that said something. Number 5, you got the Hulk 340, of course, the iconic cover with Wolverine versus the Hulk with the blade.
From
number 4, you got Venom 3, first appearance of Null.
No.
Because of the movie, The Last Dance, baby.
The God of Symbiotes.
And then you got
The
3,
King of
Secret
Kings.
Wars number 8, the origin of the black costume. It has a beautiful cover with Mike Zeck. The hype, of course, from Spider-Man.
For the Spider-Man change.
ASM number 2, ASM number 5.
Amazing Spider-Man.
First appearance of Dr. Doom fights Spider-Man. Jack Kirby loves, Stan Lee loves. Ditko. Sorry, Ditko.
Steve Ditko. There you go.
And number 1, of course, ASM 300. First full appearance of Venom.
Amazing Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. The first appearance of Spider-Man.
300 in the back.
The Venom
Spider-Man
costume.
jumping. Tom McFarlane greatness.
Tom McFarlane.
Dave Michelini writing.
Awesome.
And that's what I got for the top 10, dude.
All right. Well, we are going to be moving on to our Patreon show, The After Hours, to not only announce the winner, but to continue the conversation. So this has been Comic Convo Express. Thank you guys for the episode. Have a great day.
Make sure you drop a like, subscribe. Thank you guys for joining us. We couldn't be here without you guys, and support us. And
vote for Marvel, vote for DC. Either way, we win.
DC's winning, guys. DC's winning. Let's go. Let's
Come
get
on,
to 69.
vote. Put in the votes for us.
Let's get to 69.